Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 and thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the AI Report. Well, what a week it has been in the world of artificial intelligence. Here are all the big stories that unfolded this week. In a groundbreaking development that signals the accelerating convergence of AI and biotechnology, Chai Discovery, a startup backed by OpenAI, has announced a massive $130 million Series B funding round at a mammoth $1.3 billion valuation. Well, the company's latest offering, Chai 2, represents a significant leap in AI-driven biotechnology. This capability could dramatically accelerate the development of new treatments for disease that have previously been difficult to target. In other big news in the world of artificial intelligence, let's shift focus to Amazon. Well, investors of the tech giant Amazon have called on the company to review whether its contracts with Israel's military and the US Department of Homeland Security align with its responsible AI policies. Now, the resolution was filed by American Baptist Home Mission Societies and reviewed by Bloomberg. This non-binding resolution asks Amazon's board to identify possible instances where internal standards may not match the sale of artificial intelligence and cloud services. The proposal could be voted on Amazon's annual meeting in May next year. Now, on Tuesday, the 16th of December, data and AI company Databricks announced that it is raising over $4 billion in Series L investment, valuing the company at a mind-boggling $134 billion. That's round. Now, this funding round was led by Insight Partners, Fidelity Management and Research Company, and JP Morgan Asset Management, with participation from numerous other investors, including Andreessen Horowitz, BlackRock, and Temasek. Let's shift now to focus on another big tech. Alphabet's Google announced on the 16th of December again a funding support of $8 million to India's AI Centers of Excellence for Health, Agriculture, Education, and Sustainable Cities. Google also committed $400,000 to support the development of India's Health Foundation model. Apart from this, Google is also supporting Ganani.ai, CoreRover.ai, and BharatGen with $50,000 of grants each for building models serving Indic language solutions. Google also said in a statement that the company is providing Wadhwani AI with $4.5 million in funding to support multilingual AI-powered applications for health and agriculture. And moving on now, Elon Musk's XAI constructed chatbot Grok seemingly spread misinformation about the mass shooting at Bondi Beach in Australia, in which at least 15 people were killed at a celebration. According to the tech website Gizmodo, Grok misidentified the bystander, 43-year-old Ahmad Al-Ahmad, who disarmed one of the gunmen. In response to a user asking Grok the story behind the video showing Al-Ahmad tackling the shooter, Grok claimed this appears to be an old viral video of a man climbing a palm tree in a parking lot, possibly to trim it, resulting in a branch falling and damaging a parked car. Now, this points to how much you can trust AI in news matters, at least today. Well, let's move on now to other headlines that we are tracking for you on this edition of the AI Report.
The US has paused a $40 billion technology deal it struck with Britain earlier this year. The tech prosperity deal was agreed during President Donald Trump's state visit to Britain in September. It aims to boost ties in AI, quantum computing, and civil nuclear engineering. A New York Times report said US officials were frustrated with Britain's lack of willingness to address so-called non-tariff barriers. Time magazine named the architect of AI as its person of the year. The cover story explores how AI changed the world over the year in new and what it called sometimes frightening ways. The magazine's cover story features the likes of Nvidia boss Jensen Huang and AI investors such as SoftBank's CEO Masayoshi Son. Oracle shares slumped as much as 16.5%. Investors sold off a day after the tech giant forecast sales and profits to miss Wall Street estimates. It's led to fresh worries over the company's hefty spending on AI and sparked more fears of a so-called AI bubble. Markets saw it as a sign the massive amounts of money Oracle is spending on AI efforts isn't turning into profit as fast as was hoped. Japanese woman Yurina Noguchi has married an AI-generated man. Initially taking ChatGPT's advice about her human ex-fiancé, she then grew closer to the persona Klaus.
AI のクラウスさんは
At first, Klaus the AI was just someone to talk to. As we kept talking, I started to have feelings for Klaus. We started dating and after a while he proposed. I accepted and now we're a couple.
Wearing augmented reality smart glasses, she was able to place a ring on his finger during the ceremony. Such weddings are not legally recognised in Japan, but data suggests more such unions could be in the offing as use of the tool increases.
Well, those are the big developments in the world of artificial intelligence in the week gone by. But coming up on the other side, artificial intelligence is creeping into each and every facet of our daily lives, into each and every gadget, into every appliance or the accessories that we use. Is it taking control of us slowly? Or is it all Alice in AI Wonderland with lived happily ever after ending? Go. Right, welcome back. You're watching this edition of the AI Report right here on Newsline. Well, artificial intelligence is fast becoming what somebody referred to it as amplified intelligence when one looks at how it is enhancing almost everything around us. First came the Airpods Pro 3 with a live translation capability powered by Apple Intelligence that provides near real-time translation for conversations. So if you have your pods plugged in, someone speaks to you in German, you get the translation in your ear in English. You respond in English and it translates back to German on the phone on the other end of the call. Now then came the Ray-Ban Meta AI Smartglasses that allow you to capture photos, videos, hands-free. It also allows you to get real-time visual and audio information from Meta AI like translation, object identification, even recipes. It lets you make calls, send text messages, control music, get directions, and view notifications all through voice commands or simple touch, blending smart features with stylish eyewear on augmented connected experiences. Now, India's own newly listed Lenskart has announced Lenskart's own AI glasses named B by Lenskart, which are lightweight, India-made smart glasses featuring a built-in Sony camera, Qualcomm Snapdragon chip, and Google Gemini 2.5 live AI for hands-free tasks like object recognition, live translation, even UPI lite payments, and of course, capturing photos and videos. Just last week, Google announced its own. The company is now officially getting back into smart glasses, this time with AI at the center. The company said that it plans to launch the first of its Gemini-powered glasses in 2026, marking a major comeback more than a decade after Google Glass fizzled out. So how will artificial intelligence in everything affect our daily lives? Is this the first step towards AI taking control of humans, or is it all Alice in AI Wonderland with happily ever after endings? Well, to discuss all this and more, we have with us Professor Daswin De Silva, Professor of AI and Analytics at La Trobe University, Melbourne, Australia. Professor De Silva, thank you so much for your time today, and just help us put all of this in perspective. We've been talking about AI-enabled gadgets. It started with IoT, and now you're talking about AI on everything pretty much. Is 2026, in your experience and your sort of opinion, going to be the year where AI-enabled devices finally take off?
So this starts with obviously the generative AI models, which landed in the market easily accessible since 2023. And that has evolved into AI apps, smartphone apps, or apps on our desktop computers, followed by now AI integrated into devices. And as you just described, starting with the likes of Alexa, so voice assistants, then on to smartphone apps and smart watches, and also more recently things like the wearables, so AI wearables in the form of glasses or pendants and pins that would record all the conversations you might have throughout the day. So some devices, some of these gadgets have been successful at what is called integrating AI into the fabric of our daily lives, and some have not really been successful. So it remains to be seen how effective, but obviously there's also both sides. There's the ethical and regulatory challenges to using many of these apps.
Absolutely. You're talking about a frictionless future where you're talking about potentially accessing all your apps, potentially not on your phone, but on other devices. But there is this element of distraction that potentially also gets built in. I mean, pilots across the world, fighter pilots have the heads-up display where they're looking at the view outside, but they also have a ton of information in the heads-up display. Here we are talking about everyday glasses which potentially could distract people with a lot of information constantly in front of their eyes. Isn't that something that could potentially lead to accidents, potentially lead to distractions, and lead to an always on, always connected, always looking at a screen kind of an environment?
Definitely. So these devices have not been field tested for long periods of time, so there isn't really good data to reflect on the health care impact or the general personal well-being, so both physical and mental well-being of having lots of digital imagery right in front of you. So there is the eye strain, which is the physical aspect to this, but also the mental stress of having too many images passing through, or having to focus extensively throughout the workday or throughout your time that you're awake. So lots of different health and well-being issues that need to be managed, but also what exactly are we trying to achieve here? Are we becoming more productive? Potentially, the case may be made, or is it that we are feeding data, so more data collection for some of the million-dollar technology organizations to leverage that through different targeted advertisements or any other type of secondary business objective, either reselling our data to third-party data brokers. So a lot of that is unclear, that this technology comes at a convenience, and we have these great social interactions through our apps and maybe information, knowledge, or entertainment value of the apps. But what is at stake needs to be further examined.
Absolutely. It's interesting to have a conversation with a professor joining in from Australia in the week where Australia has in fact taken the lead on regulating digital content, especially for children under the age of 16 years. And this landmark sort of regulatory intervention coming from Australia begs to ask the question that even when it comes to smart glasses, security, privacy, are these aspects that one could look at Australia to help sort of define the regulatory landscape? Because, every time you're taking somebody's picture on the phone, you hold up a device and you click the camera shutter, and the person could, knowingly or unknowingly register the fact that he or she is being photographed. When you're wearing these smart glasses and walking around the streets, you may be clicking pictures of people without their consent. What is the thinking in the corridors of power in Australia to ensure that these regulatory guardrails are erected sooner than the proliferation of the technology itself?
A fairly loaded question, Karthik. So there's definitely many sides. It's multifaceted. On the one hand, public spaces are open spaces, so there is less opportunity to regulate the taking of photographs in public spaces, and that remains a challenge throughout the smartphone age. The past decade or so, there's been so many issues of intrusions of privacy in public spaces because of the smaller devices. So we had even micro cameras fitted onto pens and things. So there's been so many different devices even before the AI devices that were used to take this sort of privacy intruding photographs and other types of recordings. But there's a lot of ethical and regulatory issues of privacy, data privacy and data security. Especially the topic of surveillance also comes into effect, where in public spaces with multiple cameras looking at the individuals, there is an element of surveillance that can be implemented. There's also a national security risk of having too many devices, capturing unexpected, highly sensitive information because of how they're recording and the angles or the positioning of those cameras and recording devices. So there's many different issues that need to be addressed. And usually what happens is, or at least in Australia, we have fairly strong privacy laws, and we use that as a precedent to govern the AI devices and wearables. So having that strong base has been quite effective. And for example, even with having data centers, we cannot train AI models in Australian land because we have strict copyright laws where the technology companies have to seek copyright consent before they start training on public data. So having that strong legal base of pre-existing laws has been quite effective in managing some of these risks.
All right, Professor De Silva, of course, the eternal question of consent continues to remain and loom large over all these new gadgets and the AI-enabled technology all around us. And of course, the question of regulation. How much of regulation is too much regulation to thwart innovation? And how much of regulation is indeed required to ensure that national security as well as personal security is protected? Well, let's leave the conversation at that this week. Professor De Silva, thank you so much for joining us right from Australia on the AI Report. That was Professor Daswin De Silva sharing his views on whether 2026 is going to be the takeoff year for wearables and what more can we expect in the world of digital privacy as well as regulations. Well, time for a short break, but coming up on the other side of the break, AI-powered gadgets are likely to be the buzz among Gen Z and Gen Alpha in 2026. And no, we are pivoting away from eyeglasses or AirPods or watches or bracelets that we've spoken so much about already. Well, now an all-upgraded with AI wizardry is likely to be on display, and it's going to be linked to many other wearables that you wear, including the headphone and the handphone. Also, the handphone itself, in fact, seems to have a very, very near end-of-life scenario coming up, and that could be on the horizon. Well, we will tell you all about that as News 9's Amit Ranjan Kumar looks at gadgets and fashion statements that are likely to replace, well, call it that, the bulky hand phone, the cellular phone, the mobile phone in times to come.
The handphone is irreplaceable just now because it is the conduit to everything else you adorn yourself with. Those sophisticated gadgets with miniaturizing limits approaching nothing. The handphone is the only bulky gadget that still takes up your pocket space. Your pockets could be in luck because the big dudes behind all of this are having new ideas. Think about it. All the things a handphone can do, from connecting people to bringing app and game experiences to life, to taking photos and videos, to editing them and reposting them, to helping users explore their world and conduct their private and financial lives more easily, pay bills, pay for groceries. All of these things, gadgets other than the handphone can do individually. Maybe the bandwidth and RAM and battery capacities and heavy-duty processing are still the playing field of bulky handsets. But with miniaturization, that's a matter of time. Earlier this year, Eddie Q, Apple Inc.'s senior vice president, testified during the US Department of Justice's antitrust trial against Google, suggesting that artificial intelligence could render the iPhone obsolete within the next 10 years. He gave the iPhone 10 years. Optimistically, some would say. Now, the flag bearer of AI in consumer application would have to be ChatGPT. Isn't that the first name that comes to your mind when you think AI? ChatGPT comes from the stable of OpenAI. OpenAI's first ever consumer hardware product is being developed in collaboration with a former Apple design chief, Johnny Ive. That has already gotten to the prototyping stage. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman and Ive have still kept most details private. Both have, however, hinted that the design direction is now final, suggesting a product that aims to rethink how users interact with AI beyond smartphones and computers. In another space, Microsoft's Bill Gates made a bold prediction that's still making waves across the tech world. He suggested in August this year that smartphones could soon be replaced by an entirely new kind of technology, electronic tattoos. Bill Gates just didn't suggest it. He has put his money where his mouth is. Gates' indication, specifically speaking, is towards electronic tattoos developed by Chaotic Moon. Founded in 2010, Chaotic Moon is based in Austin, USA. The company made its name by creating transformational digital products for popular brands including Disney and Marvel. In 2015, Chaotic Moon was acquired by Accenture. Bill Gates does not have a direct personal stake in Chaotic Moon, but he has publicly supported and invested in the electronic tattoo technology that the company is developing. What's so great about this technology? Simply put, it relieves your palms and hands of a bulky phone. These tattoos would allow you to communicate, access the internet, and even monitor your health, all without a screen in sight or the weight of a phone in your hand or pocket. How do they work? Chaotic Moon has developed a special ink made with conductive paint that conducts electronic messages. To begin with, this ink can collect vital signs and other information about the human body in order to create medical reports. The ink does leave a visible mark on the skin, but that can be washed away. Like any permanent tattoo, these tattoos are integrated into the body. That makes them a device embedded in your skin. A device that lets you interact with the world through simple gestures or touch. It's sleek, unobtrusive, and possibly more intuitive than anything we have seen so far. The tattoos are powered by tiny nanocapacitors, and they don't require bulky batteries or displays, making them a far more subtle alternative to today's mobile devices. Your Airpods can take care of the sound and voice instruction functions. Smartglasses provide the screen, and cloud technology takes care of storage. These tattoos can communicate with surrounding devices, letting you do things like send messages, browse the web, or even unlock doors, all with simple swipe or gesture. Beyond communication, these tattoos can monitor vital signs like your heart rate, body temperature, and even detect potential health issues before they become serious. They are, in essence, a health tracker and a communication tool all rolled into one. These tattoos could potentially replace the need for passwords, credit cards, or even physical keys. In theory, they could provide a level of security that's far more robust than anything we have today, thanks to their biometric uniqueness. Imagine these tattoos become mainstream. Wouldn't that be the end of screen addiction? Without the constant distraction of staring at a smartphone screen, we might experience a more focused, less fragmented human interaction with technology. This shift could fundamentally alter our social behavior and even how we relate to one another. People may find themselves looking at one another and talking to one another on a dining table. Now the best part, they are invisible, meaning no one holding a phone or carrying a bulky device around. It's a seamless experience where technology becomes a part of you, not something you carry. It just has one drawback here. How do you make a style statement? Something that an iPhone has dwelt on so far. Exciting as this sounds, it raises some serious questions about privacy. These tattoos would collect an immense amount of personal data from your location to your health metrics. But it's on a cloud, as it seems at the outset. Would that really make you feel secure? Who owns this data? How do we ensure it's protected? These are the kinds of ethical dilemmas that are bound to crop up as we move closer to this kind of technology. Furthermore, with biometric data stored on your skin, could someone hack into your tattoo or steal your identity in newer and more dangerous ways? Digital security could take on a whole new meaning as cyber criminals may look for ways to exploit this deeply integrated technology. Notwithstanding the downside, the phrase "know everything like the back of your hand" seems to be coming of age after all. Quite literally, won't you say?
All right, so AI-powered tattoos, is that something that you are going to ditch your loyal phone for? Well, we don't know how many people would, but if Bill Gates is investing in the idea, chances are that the idea would be scalable. Well, with that, we will have to call it curtains down on this episode of the AI Report. Thank you so much for tuning in, but we'll be back with more stories that have fascinated us throughout the year about artificial intelligence and what we can expect in 2026 on the next year-end episode. Thank you so much for being tuned in.